Welcome to another episode of the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. I'm your host, Steve Casillo, and today, Phillip Washington Jr., the CIO of Stonehill Wealth Management, also the host and executive producer of Wealth Building Made Simple, a podcast that you can listen to. He's in studio today. We're talking about how much do I need in my emergency fund? Well, maybe too much, may not be quite enough. Tune in. We're going to have some fun. Today is Rocky Road Day.
Oh, I love that kind of ice cream.
And it's also National Donut Day.
How do you get 2 days now? They just ran out of days.
I don't know. There's like it's like 700 days. So and they have to fit them all into 365. So
we got to invent a new calendar.
That's right.
Yeah.
We should come up with our own. Actually, there is a National Podcasters Day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How about we come up with a National Mansfield Podcasters Day?
I like that.
Yes.
Today we are talking about how much do I need in my emergency fund, and I would assume it's not a finite number. It's not an X amount of dollars or an X amount of months or what have you. It's not finite, is it?
No, it depends, and a lot of people hate when somebody says it depends.
It depends,
right? But I find financial planning is two parts, right? It's art and it's science, and it's why a lot of people get frustrated because they want one answer that you can apply to 8 billion people, right? Yeah. And if when I say it that way, you go, oh wait, there's nothing that's right for 8 billion people, right? Because whenever you try to jam one idea into 8 billion people, then like you're like a dictator, right? It's
because I would assume if you put, you hear a lot, the standard is you should put 6 months of your salary into an emergency fund. Well, does 6 months salary look right? Does it feel right after you've got 6 months salary in the bank?
Yeah, and you hit it on the nail. I think everybody, and I don't know. I was talking with a friend yesterday, and he was talking about his trying to teach his kid who was like 5th grade, 5 years old, right? Kindergarten, yeah, 5 or 6 years old, and his kid was putting together a puzzle, and he would look at all the pieces, and then he would grab a piece, and then he would put it there, and he would grab another piece and put it in the right spot. But he had no quote unquote scientific method for how he was doing it. He was just putting it together on straight intuition.
Yeah.
And which is like feeling, right? He just felt where the puzzle piece was supposed to go. And I was like, and he was like, I'm just trying to figure out a way to teach him how to have a process. And I was like, I don't do that because we're all born geniuses as kids. Like kids have imagination, like they naturally feel, and then we put them in the system that says, F your feelings, right? Only be scientific. Like don't worry about the art. Art is for losers, versus teaching them to balance, right? To allow the feeling to guide you, and then look back and then understand the process as like a foundation. And so I'm saying that to say, when it comes to financial planning, like do what feels right. Meaning, if because of your situation, you feel like you need a year of your expenses in savings, and that's what makes you comfortable. Even if it doesn't make financial sense, have that, right? And then educate yourself on like investing talk to different people on different options, right? Continue to process different preferences, look at different things that may help level up your awareness or your understanding. And then if something comes up where you say, oh, I can do 6 months and I can put the other 6 months somewhere where it might make more money and it makes me feel good, then cool. But if not, then don't, because there's no right way. There's a way that makes you feel comfortable. And there are as many equal paths to wealth as there are people, thoughts, and ideas. So you don't have to always do the quote unquote smart thing.
I have 2 really good questions.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the first one is, should people dip into their emergency fund for things like a new car or maybe remodeling their home, things like that. Or because you always hear about the emergency fund is for it's your rainy day, it's your rainy day fund. Well, all right. So things like car or home remodeling, things like that, should you dip into your emergency fund?
Yeah, and so that's also like a artistic pain type answers. Like, for example, ultimately, from my perspective, it's all like savings are all for things you need to buy in less than 5 years, right? I could probably qualify it as that and capture all the ideas. Like anything you need to spend your money on that's outside of the normal budget, that's less than 5 years, should be in some sort of cash or emergency fund. Now, how you divvy it up, like us personally, like we have our emergency fund is divvied up into like our maintenance fund, right? Which maintenance is maybe translates to most people as the emergency fund. So like if something breaks down or if we need to get a new car or something like that, that's out of the budget, like that comes out of the maintenance fund, right? And then we have the entertainment fund, right? And so that's not really emergencies, but that's like if we go on a trip, if there's something that we need to spend outside of the normal budget, that's for entertainment, then that goes there, right? Then we also have our tax fund, right? All of these are, emergency fund things, but from a categorical standpoint, it just helps me. I feel better separating it out. Some people may not, right? You just may have the number and you can spend how you spend, but that's where it goes. That's where like, maybe having somebody who is experienced as a wealth manager help you talk through. That's more reading like a good newsletter like wealthbuildingmadesimple.us, where you have different ideas that come along that you can take and choose to add to your plan and see which one feels right. But I think
some advisors would call those buckets. Dave Ramsey would call them envelopes. And it's just parsing out your money to different or allocating that money to different. My favorite would be the entertainment envelope or bucket. But
I like that bucket too.
Okay. Oh, I said I had two questions. So the second question is it possible, or how much is too much to have in your emergency fund? Too much is all. So this is where really get into intuition. Too much is just trusting how it feels, because you'll know, right? It's like saying, how do you know when you want to get married? Like you just know, So when it's too much is when you look and you go, man, I got way too much money in cash, right? Because what you know is telling you that, and what you feel are telling you together that, hey man, like you got 2 years and you're comfortable with a year of cash, so you should probably entertain invest in this. But you'll know, right? At the very least, you'll have some inkling of saying, I know something is off. I know I feel like I got too much, but I don't know how much. I need more information, right? And then that's where like processing new ideas can help. Meaning like, that's why I'm always saying like, don't do what's smart. Like be open to all new ideas. It doesn't mean you got to take them, but like that's when you go look at new ideas. Oh, this person does this way. This person does this way. And then it's like a menu, right? If you got like a menu of food in front of you, you don't have to eat all the food. You can pick and choose which thing on the menu you want on your plate. Right. And so that's when you feel that, then I would like just start looking at different options and saying, oh, okay, this one feels where I am right now. Right. And I think the thing that's important that some people don't do is once they set their plan in motion, they don't periodically review their options, right? So I like to I'm always looking around at different options, but at least quarterly, I would say, like review everything, look at your preferences, see if it aligns with your feelings, and then make adjustments. So when it comes down to the emergency fund, really it's intuition. What you feel is enough, not enough, too much.
Intuition is genius. Like I feel like as a society, we don't use it like enough. All the geniuses use it, like any area of your genius, because we all have a genius area somewhere. Any area where we say we're a genius, it's feeling.
Yeah.
We just don't apply it to areas that we're not comfortable.
You mentioned your newsletter. Tell the Mansfieldites about your newsletter.
Yes, wealthbuildingmadesimple.us. It's a newsletter that I created for $200 a year, $25 a month, that I write my daily perspectives on there. It was a way where I'm not really taking that many more new clients on with Stonehill Wealth Management unless you have a decent account size. But I wanted to put out detailed advice, processes, thoughts around what's going on in the world in a positive way. And this is an inexpensive way for anybody to get the information about it.
And that's how they can also reach out if they have questions about finance?
Absolutely. Wealthbuildingmadesimple.us. You can my subscribers can ask me any question and I will respond directly.
That is Phillip Washington Jr. We do this every Friday morning right here on the podcast, and we run the video on YouTube or LinkedIn. We run the audio on your favorite podcast platform. Phillip, have a great weekend. Go eat some Rocky Road ice cream, and let's do it again next week.
Thank you. And I'll be sure to read the romance novel.
We appreciate you listening to the About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series. By the way, if you own a business and you are interested in being a part of the Consumer Advice Series, if you have the knowledge to give information in 10-minute increments to the consumers, shoot me an email to info@aboutmansfield.com. Again, that is info@aboutmansfield.com. We'll tell you how we can get you all set up. Appreciate it. We do it again next week right here on the podcast.